I have a real trash to treasure for you today. My sister Andrea found this solid wood cute table out on bulk day. Contacted me. Actually, she didn't. She knows me well enough. She loaded it up and then contacted me to say, do you want this? A big yes. And I cannot wait to hear what you think of this table transformation. In today's tutorial, I'm also sharing the best way to use a transfer on raw wood, how to get a perfect paint line by not staying in the lines, and more. Hi, I'm Denise from Salvaged Inspirations. Welcome back to my furniture painting DIY channel. Let's get started. Here's the vintage wood side table Andrea found roadside. With the warm summer weather, people like putting their things out to bulk because it's so much easier doing it than in the winter time, and you can find some fabulous pieces. This is a vintage wooden parlor table, and it has scalloped edge top and turned spindle legs. One of the legs did need repairing, and somebody has taken the time to stain this. I'm not sure exactly what stain color this is, but I do really appreciate that the previous owner took the time to make this table last a little longer. I started this makeover with the repair. The spindle leg was completely separated from the joint. I gave it a good scuff sanding and a wipe down just to remove all the old residue. Then, using some Titebond wood glue, I added glue inside the hole and on the leg dowel on both sides. Then I firmly put the dowel back into position and, using a mallet, hammered them together. At this point, you can use a clamp to clamp this and hold it tight. In my case, with this side table, it was such a tight fit to get it in, I did not bother with the clamps. I went ahead and cleaned up the excess glue, and now it was time for a really good cleaning. I keep cleaning until the sponge runs clean, which is multiple times. Once I had everything squeaky clean, I left everything to dry overnight and came back the following morning to sand. I find using a 220 grit sanding sponge works best on curved or spindled legs. It just makes it so much easier to get in and around all those nooks and crannies. For this tabletop, I brought out my Bosch orbital sander and used a very aggressive 60 grit to start sanding off this finish. Once I had the bulk of the finish sanded off, then I started moving up in grit, just to smooth everything out. Also, when I find that my sandpaper is not doing the bulk of the work and I have to go over it over and over again, I swap the sandpaper out for a new piece. And it's a good idea to do so, even though you hope that a piece of sandpaper will last till the end of your project or until you're finished sanding whatever area you're on. But this often isn't the case. So if you find that you have to go over an area over and over again, it's time to swap sandpaper. And this will depend on the brand or type of sandpaper that you're using. Some do last a lot longer, whereas more inexpensive brands you might have to swap out more frequently. I also want to point out that with an aggressive 60 grit, you will get swirls when you're using your orbital sander. And this is because it's very abrasive. So you will need to resand using a higher grit sandpaper to buff out all those swirls afterwards. This doesn't take long, especially on a small tabletop like this, and I just gradually increase. So I go from 60 to 120 to 220 until I get a perfectly smooth finish. Also, if you want more information on my dust-free sanding setup that cost all of $10 or $12, I will leave a link in the description box down below, along with all the rest of the tools I'm using for this project. And just to demonstrate, if you don't have a sanding sponge, a quarter piece of regular old sandpaper will work on scalloped edges or rounded edges as well. Once I had the tabletop all sanded, the body of this table scuff sanded, and all the dust removed, I brought it back into my paint room and started playing around with the design. I brought out quite a few transfer designs to pick out what floral design and what colors I wanted on top of this raw tabletop. And once I had my transfer design all picked out, I chose this Everglades green yellow. It's like a vibrant green yellow paint, silk all-in-one mineral paint. So it has the primer and the top coat already included, which saves me a ton of time. Using my 1-inch synthetic flat brush, I brushed on 2 coats of the Everglade onto the lip of this tabletop. And I just wanted to point out that I am intentionally adding a little bit of paint onto the prior sanded tabletop. So I'm not trying to stay within the lines just on the lip of this table. I'm intentionally adding a little bit of paint and going over the line. And that's because I'm going to create the most crisp line you will ever see by painting over the line. And I will share how in just a bit. You may also notice that on this tabletop there were a couple of stains, and regardless of how much I sanded it, those stains were not coming out. But I wasn't worried about it because I knew that we could cover that up with a beautiful transfer. Once I had the lip of the tabletop painted in 1 coat, I moved on to the legs and the base. For the spindles, I used my slap it on technique, and this is an easy way for me to paint the spindles or anything with a circumference and have no brush marks whatsoever. I will include the video in the description box down below and also in the cards above if you'd like full detail on that. But the basics are don't overload your brush and then literally just slap it on. And it works fabulous. I know it looks rather strange, but it works so well. You will not see one brush mark on this spindle after I'm finished. Also, the larger the brush you use for this slap it on technique, the faster the paint job will go. I am using my 1-inch flat here, and I just didn't want to pull out another new brush and have to wash 2 brushes. So that's the lazy girl way on my part. But if you are working with a 2 or 3-inch brush, painting these spindles could be done within a few minutes. I left the first coat to dry overnight, and I came back the following morning to add a second coat of this Everglades Silk All-in-One Mineral Paint. As I always like to say, the first coat is not going to look good. It's the ugly base coat, pretty much. And once you start adding a second coat, that's when all the magic happens and it starts looking really lovely. Once the second coat was 100% dry, it was time to create the nice crisp edges on this tabletop. And the trick, I take my sander and a 220 grit sandpaper and lightly sand away the paint that overlapped onto the tabletop. I find this method takes way less time than masking off with painter's tape or trying to keep a steady hand while painting. I've done this on numerous makeovers, and I always get a perfect crisp paint line, while saving me a lot of time and effort. Once I had all that paint cleaned up, I gave this table a final hand sanding with a 220 grit sandpaper. This was just to smooth everything out beautifully before I started designing this tabletop. Here's how I use the transfers on the raw wood. Applying furniture transfers directly onto raw wood is generally not recommended, although I've done it on the sides of drawers numerous times and have never had an issue. And here's a few examples. But when researching for a raw wood tabletop, I found out why I should seal it first. And that's because furniture transfers adhere best to non-porous, smooth surfaces. And depending on the wood species, the raw wood can be very porous and absorb or interact with the adhesive, causing the transfer to lift, peel, or bubble. So when using it on a high traffic piece like a tabletop, the best practice is to seal the raw wood before applying a transfer. And that's exactly what I did. I added 1 coat of this water-based polyacrylic top coat, and it worked amazing. I applied mine with a sponge, but you could also use a brush or application pad. That would work just as well. Another little tip I like to do is to reuse my applicator sponge. So I knew I was going to be top coating it after I applied the transfer, so I just put it into a little baggie. And this way it keeps nice and moist for when I need to use it again. Once the table was all dry and sealed, I started playing with my transfers again. But I ended up staying with my first choice regardless. Sometimes your first instinct is usually the best. These transfers are fun and easy to use. I cut out the designs I wanted to apply to my project. And as I've mentioned before, I usually never use an entire transfer. So my transfers usually last me a good few projects. You can also mix and match different transfers or create your own design. I actually encourage you to create your own unique design rather than just using a sheet in its entirety. Once I cut out the florals I want to use, I arrange them onto the tabletop and play around with the design until I like the look, or at least have some sort of idea and concept of what I want it to look like. To adhere the transfers, you pull off the backing, place the transfer onto the table, and burnish it on with the applicator that's provided. You'll notice that the transfer starts looking a little more milky once it's adhered to the tabletop, and you'll find it very easy to pull off the plastic mylar sheet, which is on top. I worked my way around the table, designing and cutting out different florals as I went. I also made sure to cover those visible stains. I worked my way around the table until I had a beautiful floral design, and for the very last little mark on that table that I don't know if it wasn't a real stain, but it was a little darker spot that I did not like. I found a butterfly from one of my other transfer designs, and that was the last little detail I applied. I also burnished the transfer to get rid of the little ghost lines around this floral design, and I do that just by rubbing it with the finishing pad. And now it was time to protect this beautiful tabletop. I pulled out the sponge from the plastic wrap and applied 3 coats of this satin clear coat to protect the raw wood tabletop and the beautiful florals. I left everything to dry, and then I reassembled the table back together using the original screws and lining it up exactly with the existing screw holes. And just as a reminder, here's the before. And here's the after. What do you think? I think this table turned out super sweet. It's really lovely. And another piece saved from our landfill. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this Trashy Treasures table makeover. Leave me a comment down below on what you think of this makeover and what you would have done if you would have done anything differently. And until next project, have a fabulous week. Bye guys.